What is the hope and promise of education? This is Judy Flouché. This is Dr. Owens. This is our final presentation of week 5 of the Professional Seminar 2. The hope and promise of education. The purpose of public education is how we fulfill our collective responsibility to enable individual opportunity for each and every child. We are supposed to educate all of the children equally, the same, so that our children come out of high school as adults that are functioning, that can hold down a job, that can go to college, that have skills that enable them to live. We do believe that public education is the way to go because it means that we help all children dream their dreams and achieve them. There are, however, pressures that interfere with fulfilling that promise. For children and economic and societal factors outside of school as resources. Resources are not allocated fairly between school districts. School neighborhoods and environments are different. If you go into some poor neighborhoods, you can have strip joints and bars right next door. There are no facilities for education that they can go to, such as libraries. 1 out of 2 children come out of homes of poverty. That lends its own stress. There are homeless children that come to school. There are children that come to school hungry. They don't have supplies. They come from good and bad environments at home that affect how they are able to succeed in school. ESL and ELL students struggle with trying to learn another language and learn in school. It provides fear and anxiety for those trying to acclimate to a new culture. Education gap. Education is supposed to be the great leveler of social class, but it's not. The education gap is getting wider and wider as the gap between rich and poor gets wider and wider, and the middle class is disappearing. Education is supposed to level, and our goal as educators is to give our students the best chance they have at leveling out whatever their home life, societal, economic pressures may be. Effective schools have 4 characteristics. They have high academic expectations for all students. They are caring and nurturing. They value the culture and linguistic background of ELL students, and they involve ELLs in school. ELL students have huge pressures, trying to learn English quickly, creating anxiety and fear. We can support them by being culturally sensitive to their cultural identity. We have to value their ability to speak 2 languages, help them build positive relationships with students and teachers, increase their self-worth. We also need to understand and support cultural norms which help create a nourishing school environment. Effective teaching in culturally diverse classrooms. To be effective, teachers need a broad range of knowledge. We all know that teachers need deep content knowledge, but you need to be able to present your subject material in ways that all students can understand and connect with. And students that come from different cultures may connect with material in a different way, and teachers need to be aware of how culture affects the ability to learn. Skills for creating a classroom environment that is supportive of learning for diverse students. We as educators need to make sure that students feel safe, that they can take risks, that they can learn in an environment that it doesn't matter if they come at something from a different point of view. That point of view is valued. There needs to be different ways of assessing students. Your basic pen and paper test may not be the way to accurately assess how a student learns. The ability to reflect on practice. And every teacher needs to have high expectations for the student's success and communicate those high expectations with a student. Allowing the student to feel that it's okay to fail is not okay. Teachers need to be educated as well. According to the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education, the majority of English learners receive most, if not all, of their instruction from their regular classroom teachers. Tragically, most teachers in these classrooms have little to no training in the learning needs of culturally and linguistically diverse students. There is a study by Gay, Prater, and Steed that includes a needs assessment of the teachers and led them to incorporate content regarding language and culture in teacher instructional practices. As I was going through my own teacher certification process, there was little to no information given on how to handle students who are ELLs or speak a different language. And so most teachers learn as they go. They kind of climb into the battlefield of the classroom and try and figure it out as they go. Unfortunately, for those students that get an inexperienced teacher, it can cause lasting issues, and that needs to be addressed in how teachers are educated. There are some learning strategies that teachers can employ. Teachers should become educated in diverse cultures. Academic learning is inseparable for language. You need to understand the relationship between linguistic abilities and the tasks through which they are expected to learn. They can do things such as identify key vocabulary, review textbooks to make sure that someone who is ELL or ESL can understand it. There needs to be very clear-cut instructions. Using rubrics makes it much easier for students to understand what is expected of them. Using instructional tools, different graphic organizers such as timelines, Venn diagrams, help clarify content. Facilitating and encouraging the use of a student's native language. And pairing students with others to facilitate learning. The hope for public education. If all these pieces fall into place, it is our hope that all students will be educated equally, that public education will be what it was put forth to be, a way to equalize and level the playing field for students regardless of their socioeconomic status. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote to his own children, "I don't ever want to forget that there are millions of God's children who will not get a good education, and I don't want you feeling that you are better than they are. For you will never be what you ought to be until they are what they ought to be." Until we fulfill Dr. King's dream of an equitable education for all, then the work to improve public education continues, and the hope and promise that our children will all receive the education that will make them independent adults will not happen. Thank you.